Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Who am I but I'm Dre Mac? Came into the game just to spit facts. Into the space that I'm in. They got me by the Drake cause I'm cold with the pen. I run no diamonds but I still shine. You can dig me cause my boy's mine. My tracks flame like a Dalu. The hardest part on my tongue, thinking is a warm blue. I'm a throw with a gas leak. Camouflage in the mist, but you smell me. One spark, then I bet you I'ma blow up. They throw my name around, get stupid, then you go dumb. No rest for the weary. A versus thinking in his man, but you can't see me. You rather drink than go pull up. I'm drinking knife through the game, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. I came to eat at the a la carte. Got stripped of a bear, call me brainstorm. Then I come together like a Voltron. Then I pour all the plaques, you use Decepticons. Fake rappers to retreat like Cobra. 80's they can float like up in the storage and I'm E-Man. Up, down, down, then I'm cheap. You a beast, man. I take a beat in. Ninja Turtle rap, Turtle Clans get defeated. Hop in my ride, you can call me Night Rider. You can never stop me, cause I'm a guy bomb. Bad attitude like a rocket, my whole to the A, and I bet you can't stop us. LL bad when I go and show up. You can hear the haters in the back. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie.
This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Dre Mack, coming to you again with another episode of The Dre Mack Show. 7:30 in the morning Central Time, 8:30 on the East Coast. You're from the West Coast right now. Go ahead and get up, because you already know that the early bird gets the worm. And on today, we are going to go over one of Utterly Noah's videos. Shout out to J. Carter and shout out to Utterly Noah. I actually seen Utterly Noah and High CHD in my man the Birdman's video. I mean live stream. When he was live streaming Resident Evil, you know what I mean? I told him, your video is coming. I'm too busy doing online beefs, but the video is coming. You know what I mean? So shout out to Utterly Noah. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Do love the stuff that him, High CHD, SK, and a lot of other guys that's going after these grifters, man. I love what they do, and I love reacting to their videos, man. So shout out to him and shout out to Birdman and all the guys that's in here. Obviously some of y'all have seen the latest video that I put out. You know, hey, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm better now. So hopefully you guys are happy. Hopefully you guys are healthy. Shout out to my man Heavy Get over at the Heavy Get Reaction. You already know how I do. The real question is,
Say why you hating on my energy? Say why you hating on my energy? I don't think you wanna be my enemy.
all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. And y'all all see the shirt? Nah. All right, let's get to who everybody that's in the chat right now who's coming in. Fresh baked butter biscuits up in this mug. Molly Mar, good morning, good morning, good morning. Krisha Key, good morning, good morning, good morning. Gia Network, good morning, good morning, good morning. My man She, good morning, good morning, good morning. Torian Rain Reloaded, good morning, good morning, good morning. J. Carter, good morning, good morning, good morning. I keep telling you, brother, just be patient. I have a schedule. Be patient. I got you. Deron, my man Deron, what's up? What's up? What, my brother? What's good? Damon Millie, what's up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Miss Roberta, the church auntie, good morning, good morning, good morning. Look, I did that whole video and I didn't say a lot of cuss words. Everybody else did. I didn't. Marco K. Yeah. So Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the morning, Central Time, 8:30 on the East Coast. We do it every morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Michael Johnson, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. Y'all already know what we do. We're gonna shout out the crew. Once we shout out the crew, we're gonna go into the latest Utterly Noah video. So you already know. Let's go. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. Stop everything you're doing. Go and hit that like button. I know this is probably your first time watching and you probably enjoying everything. Stop fucking on the channel and go and hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos or one of my morning live streams. And for only $2.99 a month, you know you can be a part of the crew. And shout out to all my crew members that have been holding it down for Dre Mack and the crew since the beginning. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program, now in service. Go. Bye. All right. And of course, if you want to be a part of the crew, all you got to do is hit the join button. That's it. You got to hit the join button, man. It just helps out the channel. Honestly, it helps out the channel for me to be able to bake more crispy, buttery biscuit flavor. All right. Let's get into this video. Let's get into it. I think I've seen a couple other people come up in here. Juna Ben Israel. What's up? What's up, my man? What's good? What's good? Get into that Pennywise. That's what's up. Let me see. X-Men, Xavier Phoenix. Good morning. Good morning. Sean Franklin. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Q is not a robot. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And if you like the last video that did, and I'm telling you now, that's the last video I'm doing on Ernie. Because honestly, I don't care about Ernie. I don't care what Ernie does. I don't care what Ernie say. Just don't say my name. Say my name 3 times like Candyman, not roll on your ass like an ambulance. And I'm not playing. Just leave. Just this is it. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to be nice at all. I'm going straight for the jugular. I'm calling out everything, and I'm being nice. So as long as this is the last video that I would do, I'm telling y'all now. So you ain't got to worry about that. I know he's not going to say my name because, hey, he wants me to promote him. Dude, that's so insulting. He act like I was begging this man to come holler at him on this podcast or holler at him in the thing. I did one video. I was like, hey, you the one who said that. I'm like, hey man, get at me. What's up? I ain't say nothing else. I ain't said nothing else. So I don't care about Ernie. I don't care about what Ernie do. I don't care about Bert. I don't care about none of the people on Sesame Street or whatever he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Hey, yes, Torian, I seen that Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. It was fire. I'm very curious on if they're now going to change the movies and make them more like the video games where you have this story arc that is going on with Shao Kahn and Estina and all of that. Are they actually going to take elements for what they did starting? I mean, technically, it's not started in Mortal Kombat 9 because that was the reboot, but it started with like Mortal Kombat Armageddon, and after Mortal Kombat 4, then we started getting more of the story arc and stuff like that. But especially Mortal Kombat Armageddon, that's where it started getting live and funky. So I'm curious. I'm very curious if they're gonna stick to, because Ed Boon is behind this, and I'm not gonna lie. I love the stories. I personally love the stories of Mortal Kombat. I played Mortal Kombat 1. Did that story about Mortal Kombat 11. Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, Mortal Kombat. I've done the stories on all, especially on the next gen, all since Mortal Kombat versus DC. You know what I'm saying? Because did I have Armageddon? I'm not for sure. But yeah. If they stick to the story and make Outworld and make Athenia and make, you know, all of the stuff that they do in the Mortal Kombat franchise as far as the stories that they tell on the big screen, I'm for it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So yeah, again, Mortal Kombat 1, bought the DLCs, and they give me every time. I always buy the DLCs for Mortal Kombat, because I want the additional stories, especially God rest his soul, the guy who played Shang Tsung in the original Mortal Kombat movie. You know, when he passed, it was in Mortal Kombat 11. You know what I mean? And then they basically recast him in Mortal Kombat 1, but still love that. I wonder, is we gonna get Shinnok, or are we gonna get what's his name? The sorcerer. Oh my God, I see his face. I can't think of his name. I see his face. The one who tricked Hanzo into to killing Sub-Zero and starting to Luke up. I'm looking right at him, and I played with him a number of times, and you know what? If I ever figure out a way to start streaming my PS5 on here, I'll do Mortal Kombat. Any fighting game, I'll do it on the stream. We'll be streaming that mug for a minute, playing Mortal Kombat or whatever fighting. I love fighting games. Quan Chi, godly, yes. I'm thinking I'm thinking that and I said it's Mr. Cocaine. Okay, I said your name wrong. I'm thinking Quan Chi is in this movie. And that's because there's a clip in there where you see this guy, there's a hooded figure with this green mist going all over his body. I believe that's Quan Chi resurrecting the original Sub-Zero to become a new Cybot. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Quan Chi is in this movie. Again, if they stick to the way that they tell the stories in the video game, I'm all for it. And having Johnny Cage, I say it is Mr. K, Marco K. Okay, all right, because I'm not gonna lie, it does look like Mr. Cocaine until I looked at your emoji. I'm like, okay, that is Kane Marco. Well, Marco K is like a rapper, man. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Let's go ahead. Let's get on the track, Kane Marco. No, I'm just playing. I'm joking. But nah. So I'm super excited. I ain't gonna lie, super excited because I want them to stick to. Oh, that's dope. That's dope. All right, that's what's up. Man. You know what I'm saying? Many blessings to you and your clothing brand and all your endeavors that you're doing, man. Meet Thinks 995. Can't even say it right. What I really want is, I don't know if you ever watch Mortal Kombat, Scorpion's Revenge. Try to live in Los Santos and GTA. You stupid, Deron. But if you've ever watched Scorpion's Revenge, then you will know what I'm talking about. Or the Johnny Cage cartoon mixed in with what they do in the actual video games. I did see it. Okay, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, but I did see it later. I'm like, oh, that is dope, though. I'm not gonna lie, because it's the juggernaut. I can't say the word because Miss Roberta gonna get me. But you know what I can do? Hit you up with some of this buttery biscuit activity. Take it away, Stevie Knight.
Taste the biscuit.
Thank you.
Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Appreciate it. Also, I seen Wolverine's getting ready to drop. Shout out to D Stizzle. Because now I was looking, I was so close to buying an X-Men arcade machine, because I should have got it when it was readily available along with my other. Y'all see my arcade one-ups back here. You know what I'm saying? Simpsons, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and then I have Marvel Superheroes as a countercade, and then I have TMNT, which is a countercade, and I have Mortal Kombat 2, the countercade, and NFL Blitz as a countercade. And then I also have a countercade of Miss Pac-Man and NBA Jams. But the ones that I wanted, I didn't get, which was X-Men and the bigger, the full cabinet of X-Men. And somebody that was local to me was selling X-Men too. Somebody was local, was selling X-Men and the arcade. And I love that arcade. Well, I don't have to pay $400, $500, or $1,100 for it, because they just dropped a trailer where they're about to drop the X-Men. You could play 6-player mode online on the arcade, just like how I felt back in the day. You know, to hop on the sticks, you can play that mug right now, because Limited Run is getting ready to drop. Drop the 13-game series with Captain America and the Avengers, which is actually a fun video game. It's a very fun video game, because my God, I can't wait. I'm going to have that on my Switch and my PS5. So yeah, I can't wait. But what I know you guys, y'all don't want to hear me talk about video games and stuff like that. Y'all came for the grift. Y'all came for Otterly Noah and what he's exposed in the grift. So of course, I got to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be right back with more of the Dre Max Show.
Knight Rider will return after these messages and station identification.
Sandman, he's Sandman, not just Oprah's boyfriend. If you cross him, you're a dead man. You heard what I said, man.
I heard he was gay. No way, sister.
Who's that man? He's Sandman.
Knight Rider. The Knight Rider power cycle with Kit on the pretend instrument panel.
Here he comes. There's something special happening at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Fresh buttermilk biscuits made from scratch. Our chicken head biscuits a perfect match.
Warm, taste so good, make you want to slap your mama for real. Man, I slap your grandma, I slap your auntie.
Good idea. Playing horsey with your little sister. Bad idea. Playing horsey with your Aunt Bertha.
Let's see who's bad, man. Come on, let's go. Let's do it. I'll show you who's bad. Come on.
You wear a disguise to look like human guys, but you're not a man, you're a chicken boo.
Now the conclusion of
I hate how they talk about you. Everybody thinks you're just a freeloader. They don't know about...
They can't know. They can't ever know. If my cover's blown, we're both dead.
Do you like the car? It's for you.
What's the occasion?
I can't believe you forgot again. It's our anniversary. We've been engaged for 15 years.
You know, I'd marry you tomorrow, baby. But it wouldn't be fair, not to you or to the free world. Well, look at you.
This is it. I can't believe it. After 15 years, we're finally going to consummate our love.
Damn. This is Stedman. It's the commissioner.
What?
Professor Haight? He's escaped? Damn. What? The French Riviera? Now? Yes, sir. I'm on my way. Damn him! Damn that Professor Haight!
He's escaped? Again? Can't they build a prison strong enough to hold him for at least one night?
He's diabolical! I must go.
Can it wait just 1 hour? I want it so bad. 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Believe me, when we finally make love, I'm gonna take my time. It's gonna take all night long. But right now, I'm gonna need some money.
How much?
Let's see. French Riviera. In the house. Wardrobe disguises, special weapons, laser glasses, speedboat, armored helicopter.
All I have on me is 1.3 million.
That'll have to do.
Oh, darling, what kind of life is this?
Oprah, darling, you have to be strong. There's more at stake than just you and me.
Here's something to read on the plane.
Thank you, darling.
How about a kiss?
Of course. Close your eyes.
Oh, Stedman.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Blue. I felt like I could have did better on that video too. I really felt like I could have did better on that video. But I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Dude's a goofball. I'm just saying like this. Goofball. Straight. I'm not speaking no nothing on no goofballs. And I'm gonna tell y'all like this before I get to this. This is the last time I'm talking about bro. I'm gonna just be real with you. He did all of that to tear down Rob. If you really think about it, he made this whole narrative. He made was he supposed to be? I mean, the man, I told y'all, the man can follow wherever the hell he wants to. I ain't whatever. If that dude want to follow, you know what I'm saying, neurotic or critical drinker, fine. It's up to you if you want to watch his stuff. Was his response to that the greatest? Was it the greatest take? No. It wasn't. I'm not about to pretend it was, because again, we're not asking Rob to be the voice of black politics, and I'm not asking Rob for none of that. You're not the guy that I would ask for that. Rizza Islam, yes. Rob from Comics Explained, no. just being honest. You know what I mean? But the way that Blurred, aka old Ernie, the way old Ernie spent the block on him, because I went through this dude's stuff trying to look for the recast of child conversation, which I'm not going to go through every single, but he had no single video that was just directly said, let's talk about recast T'Challa. So that's why when he was like, I've said it before, it's just ready or available. Where is it at? You never sent me. He never sent me nothing to be like, here's where I said it right here, because he doesn't act like an adult, and I'm not about to stoop to this dude level, because he doesn't act like an adult. He acts like a child that felt entitled. You know what I mean? And he felt like he was entitled enough to come to Rob. But then when I come to him like, yo, you supposed to be so blackety black, then why are you hating on people? Why are you hating on people that want a black king back? And just like extreme feminist talking points, sign language came number one on the list. This is why, dude, you can never debate me. You can never debate me. You can never. And I'm gonna be real with you. If you ride with him and you want to come and kumbaya, dog, I'm not for it. Dude, I had people talking about how you go tear down a black man I just noticed this. That was like, how you gonna tear down a black man during Black History Month? And ain't nobody said, well, why did he tear down a black man during Black History Month? I mean, he co-signed on them. It is funny. Ernie got mad because I co-signed someone who just said, hey, why didn't he have that same smoke? Or why didn't he have that same energy for Recast T'Challa that he got for Rob, and how he's not doing anything black? Right? And he said, well, you double down on it. You know what I'm saying? I got an answer for that. It feels like if I answer for that, I feel like I'm gonna be punished. Wait. No, I got an answer for that. And then you go sit up there and say, Rob, that's not good enough. Dude's whack, super whack, and I don't fuck with super whack people. And that's the last thing I'm gonna say on that. Sorry, Miss Roberta. That's my one and only F-bomb for the day. Whack, super goofball. I'm not giving that goofball none of my energy. So anyway, I'm done ranting and raving. I hope Marley Mart and Torian is happy. But I'm not giving that goofball none of this energy. I'm done. Anyway, let's get to this Utterly Noah video, because that's what y'all came for. Y'all come for me going off on goofball energy. Y'all came for Utterly Noah's video, so let's get it to it. In this video, it's called How Anti-Woke Culture Weaponized 1980s Nostalgia. Let's get to it. Let's go.
So, not too long ago, the Masters of the Universe trailer was released from Amazon MGM Studios, and the response was interesting to say the least.
A question I get asked a lot
is, this guy again.
What's next?
This guy. Oh my God. Hi, CHD. I had to get to the. I gotta go. Utterly Noah, you should have warned me. We gotta go through this guy again. Well, you know what we gotta do.
Every franchise, they've wokeized everything. They've turned everything into this like slop level joke tier Marvel movie, and then it's like. Is there anything?
I really hate people miss the joke on the he/him. It's just a play on he/man. But even if they would have put he/man, this little cornball ass dude would have still been complaining. Okay, Miss Roberta. Okay, that's the last cuss word. That's the last cuss word, because I don't want you to bring up the bless oil. That's the last cuss word. But oh my God. Anyway.
Else left, and it's, you know, you've seen the meme with the Grim Reaper going through its path of MCU, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. Now they've come for Masters of the Universe.
Gee, that's pretty tough talk for the guy who got outed online for stealing a woman's identity to try to sell female smut books under her name because his own AI-generated books weren't selling whatsoever, which, gee, I can't imagine why those weren't selling.
Wow. Oh my God, he keep bringing receipts. Ooh! And I want people to understand this is a reaction channel, so I'm just reacting to what I see. And oh boy!
And he also got outed as a wife beater. Shocker. And of course, the usual suspects over on Nerdrotic's side of things were acting exactly the same as you'd probably expect as well.
I think we need a race swapped He-Man. I don't know about you guys. We need an Indian He-Man who says, I have to shower.
Hey, y'all can't tell that these people are racist. but ass is a donkey. I you know, in the Bible he rode on a donkey. But boy, I'm trying to be good, Miss Roberta. I'm trying to tell you the spirit is on me. The spirit is on me. But listen, these are the dude, and this is what I was trying to point out. Rob, these are the people, and these are the things that they say. There's no way in the world I will follow and listen to anything that these dudes have to say, because they are baked in racism. They are baked in racism. And then remember, Thumbhead actually watches this crap, laughs and giggles on it. I mean, at least he had enough thought about recasting T'Challa, but that's a whole totally different subject. Jeez. Oh.
Bro, you got the whole squad laughing.
Well, there are definitely legitimate concerns to have about the upcoming latest installment in the He-Man franchise, probably most notably that this is the latest blockbuster film to star Jared Leto in a major role, who somehow still manages to get roles even after everything he's been accused of, and also now appearing in the Epstein files of all things.
Oh my God, he's in there?
Suspects are slightly upset at this.
I didn't know that. Jared Leto's in the Epstein, boy.
Film supposedly being woke propaganda, claiming that the fact that Man-at-Arms is being played by Idris Elba in this film, and also the fact that He-Man has a pronoun nameplate on his desk, means that clearly this film is gonna be woke garbage. Oh no, pronouns, the horror.
Sorry, do you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns!
But I think one of the most interesting aspects of this is that even though the anti-woke crowd appears to be very upset at this movie
What's
for
up, Unapologetic Simmer?
show and making it all woke now, they seem to have forgotten that the original show was initially berated by conservative audiences at the time for its often very on-the-nose gay undertones.
Yes, very. Well, back then, I don't know if you could say this anymore, but we used to call it homoerotic because that's what it looked like. It looked like, especially Shira. My man rode around on a horse with the rain base, with a heart, and was just as sweet as sugar. You know what I'm saying? But we loved it anyway. We didn't hate it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of it, it always had a message for the kids. It had a message for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Even if that message was kids, that ain't the way. You know what I mean? So it's funny how these dudes now don't understand this, or they do understand it and they don't want to be fair on it, because they're not being fair on this. We know what it is. They know what it is. But the grift is better. It's better just to grift.
But now, for some reason, it seems like the anti-woke crowd has very...
Hold up. Let's see who was all in it. Let's see who was all in the house. You got neurotic. Hold on. Let me see if I could take away real quick my overlay real quick, because I just want you. Let me see if I can take away my overlay real quick. All right. So from left to right, neurotic, Mayor McNugget, Shad M. Brooks, who is an Arthur, Ryan Beavis, Butthead, Kennel, Odin, MB Reviews, Despero, Robert Myers Burnett. Is that the same? He's not the same guy from that's on John Campia, is it? Yeah, is that the same? Is Robert Meyer Burnett? Is that the same dude from the John Campia show? Wow, Shu, your token ethnic person. That is wild. That is wild. That is wild. I'm so disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so disappointed. Chrissy Mayer and INK Comics Division. I'm gonna tell you why I'm disappointed in this. I'm very disappointed. Because I watched John Campia's show. I actually likes this dude's takes. I do. I like this dude's takes. But to associate yourself with a bunch of this garbage on here, I'm gonna put up my thing because I'm disappointed. Hold up. When I do that, Oh, I'm at the bottom when I don't have an overlay. When I have an overlay, they cut me off. Wow, that is wild. Yeah. If I don't have an overlay, then I'm down here. When I do have an overlay, they need to fix that. They need to fix that. For real. They need to fix that. Anyway. No wonder y'all can't see me because I'm at the bottom of the thing, but you can still hear me on the mobile side. Anyway, if you associate with garbage like this, I'm out. I'm out. When you're on the show, that's why Rob really needed to understand. Rob from Comments Explained really needed to understand the type of energy that these dudes, come across. But to sit at the table and eat with these people, you're guilty by association. The only reason why I gave Rob grace is because you're following the dudes, you're trying to see what they're talking about, all of that. Yeah. But then don't talk about, black politics. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk about that. Because then you will listen to them, but don't listen to us. That's weird. Weird energy, especially coming from somebody that's black. But I think after all of this ordeal, I think he has a better understanding where folks is coming from. But this here, I can't. I can't rock with it. Especially after just listening to the clip, and I bet you all of them were laughing and giggling about it. I don't know whose show this is, but I know Mayor McNugget and Neurotic is. The main culprits on there, but let's keep going. Let's keep going because
conveniently forgotten this and now is attempting to act like it's been quote-unquote wokeified in the year of 2026. Funny how that works. And interestingly enough, this is a larger trend we have seen in recent memory. On the anti-woke side of things, utilizing nostalgia and almost weaponizing it in some cases for their own personal political agenda.
Facts. Only reason why I say I wasn't expecting him because on John Campion's show, he don't come off like he even deals with any of that type of crap. You know what I mean? Because you can't tell me they just asked you to come on the show and you didn't vet these people's show before you got on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not gonna say, hey, come on my show and I ain't watched none of your stuff before. That's probably why I don't get invited to too many shows because they vetted myself and like, I'm not bringing him on. He talking about Taste the Biscuits. He beats with people. No, they're not gonna bring me on. But yeah, it did happen. But I'm vetting. I'm vetting anything I'm going on. I'm sorry.
Years and years now, we've seen Hollywood mining the 1980s for the best IPs to bring back to life for a nostalgia-hungry audience. We've seen the 80's come back. We've seen Ghostbusters come back twice. We've seen Blade Runner come back. We saw Indiana Jones come back twice as well, unfortunately. Even just last year alone, we saw The Naked Gun, Tron, The Smurfs, Predator, and The Running Man all come back. So why exactly is Hollywood, and also anti-woke culture, which we'll get into, so obsessed with the 1980s?
So what should I expect?
I can't.
I like the 80s.
Now,
that's Tony. Think about it like this. With everything that I know about Ernie and what he said, and then I turn around, I make my videos, I do all of that. And then next thing you know, you see me on a podcast, you know what I'm saying? Kiki and all of that with him. When I know how he feels just about recast T'Challa, obviously that's what he feels like about a black king because it's just unseriousness and all of this. He doesn't care about the character. He doesn't really care about black people anyway. And I'm over here kikiing about it. I'm kikiing with him. What does that look like to you? You being a fan of my channel, you're watching my channel, you're being a fan of my work, and do you see me kikiing with somebody who don't give a damn if the first black mainstream superhero comes back? He jokes and laughs like it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then we're trying to push as a narrative on a black man who did nothing to him, but did not answer his question the way he wanted to be answered, but then got mad when somebody came with that same energy for him. How does that make me look? I'm not sitting at the table with you dudes. Miss Roberta, flub them. I'm using the BT midday cuss words. You know what I'm saying? The mother flub puckers. You know what I mean? I would expect you to unapologetic simmer. If I was sitting up here kikiing with the people that I know that I don't rock with, y'all gonna be looking at me like, dude's a hypocrite. How you gonna go hard on the man one day and now you kikiing with him the next? Nah, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't go on somewhere where they spew the kind of racist crap that they do, and if that's okay to sit with them. Nah, sit long enough with snakes and don't get mad if they bite you. I'm just saying. I get you, Tony. Remember on Boomerang when Eddie Murphy's character came in there and they found out that, you know what I'm saying, old girl did him wrong, and Chris Rock said, first the fat boys break up, now it is. Oh man, I'm just saying.
Hollywood has always been about bringing back nostalgic properties for a really long time now, make no mistake. But for some reason, they seem very distinctly obsessed with the 1980s. If we look at the amount of 90s IPs that have been brought back by Hollywood, or even just 2000s, it's actually a far smaller list than the 1980s.
Facts.
Even now, is Gen X the audience the easiest to cater to with bringing back 1980s IPs enters their 50s, Hollywood still
There's
continues
Goonies
to mine the
too?
1980s for even the smallest of films to bring
Yeah,
back.
Gremlin.
And inevitably, it's not just Hollywood that seems very specifically interested in the 1980s. Modern day American politics also do. Take a look at Donald Trump's own presidential campaign, which, funny enough, was modeled directly after Ronald Reagan's own original campaign in the 1980s, even down to the original campaign slogan, Make America Great Again.
Yup. People forget that. This dude is basically, and anybody who's an 80s baby knows, except for the crack, this is their modern day Ronald Reagan. Let me say that again. Donald Trump is to you, the people who are growing up with Donald Trump, he's what Ronald Reagan was to us. Right? And if you know anything about Reaganomics and all of that, this is because people forget Ronald Reagan was an actor. You understand? I think he became like governor or something or whatever. I don't know. He got into politics and became president. You know what I'm saying? And crack, and drugs, and destroying, and you know, families getting torn apart. The rise in welfare and I could say, yeah. You know, you're Reagan's baby. You know, this generation's Reagan. It's Donald Trump. Just being honest. You know, so, and that's why he modeled a lot of his stuff after Ronald Reagan.
They're trying to claim that American culture was at its peak in the 1980s, which isn't entirely true, but more on that later. But why exactly is the 1980s such a vast well so many people want to draw from, whether it's anti-woke grifters wanting to sell a narrative or politicians wanting to win an election? Well, that's the question.
I will tell you this. For He-Man, we needed another movie. And us 80s kids waited a long time to get another He-Man movie that was actually look like He-Man. And I am all for it.
And I want to answer today. I want to look exactly at why the 1980s seems to be a decade held in such reverence by people, and why it's often very intentionally weaponized by people in the anti-woke side of things.
We're the older generation now.
Almost as this beacon of hope, a sacred decade that anything pulled from is automatically going to be treated with this almost mystical reverence, no matter how niche or inconsequential
there you go, aggressively relaxing
actually is. To get a better understanding of this, we first need to look at the exact kinds of films that were being made in the 1980s, which actually means we have to look at what happened to Hollywood in the previous decade. In the 1970s, the film industry experienced something of a revolution. This was the era that the traditional studio system of Hollywood completely collapsed, largely due to the major studios losing direct control of theaters across America, since initially various theaters were controlled by film studios before an antitrust law passed in 1947 resulted in studios simply acting as distributors for a variety of films to be shown in theaters, and theaters themselves no longer being owned directly by studios. As a result, many studios were in dire financial straits, with Paramount getting acquired by Gulf and Western, a giant media conglomerate, in order to act as a giant advertising firm for them and create various ad campaigns, which were meant to directly endorse the company.
Keep dropping these jewels, Otterly. Keep dropping these jewels.
What do you know? Not too far off from how Paramount is now after the Skydance merger. But perhaps the main good thing to come out of the collapse of the original Hollywood studio system was the fact that now an entirely new generation of directors were brought on by a variety of studios, without having to commit to one particular studio and follow their often heavily filtered, very censored process of filmmaking. Finally, directors and filmmakers were allowed to truly express themselves and make films they never could have made before under the old system, and the studios couldn't really afford to turn down any of these new up-and-coming directors, since that would mean losing capital even further.
And to add on to that, remember the collapse of almost the collapse of Hollywood was actually saved prior to that by the Black exploitation movement, because you needed to filter in more money, and Black people were out there watching, Matt Truck Jones and Superfly and all these other movies, which generated more revenue for the studios, so they can go into this direction. So absolutely.
As a result, this was the decade that some of the most renowned American directors of the past 50 years, people like Martin Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Francis Ford Coppola, and others all rose to prominence, since they were more or less given unlimited creative freedom and the ability to speak to a younger, more restless group of people who had become some of their most devoted audiences. Films like Apocalypse Now, Network, A Clockwork Orange, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, The Deer Hunter, the original Muppet movie, Jaws, The Godfather, Grease, Alien, Gone in 60 Seconds. The original one, not the Nicolas Cage movie made later at Disney, which is by far the worst version. Taxi Driver,
still awesome,
probably most famous
I'm not gonna. Hey, Otterly, I know you're getting ready to drop this Star Wars, but don't do Gone in 60 Seconds like that. Don't you do Gone in 60 Seconds like that. I love that movie. I love the movie because of the car more than anything. He has Eleanor, I have Sideways. We both got a Mustang. I just have a 2024, and he had a modified version of it. But yeah.
These were all films that came out in the 1970s as a result, an era highlighted by creative freedom and a lack of overly tight control from a Hollywood studio system. Also, this decade had Disney's Robin Hood, which was one of the key cornerstones of the founding of the furry fandom, so obviously it was very important for that too. Maid Miriam and Robin Hood are like the mother and father of the furry fandom. There really wasn't a decade quite like the 1970s in terms of film, just simply because of the circumstances surrounding it, and arguably there might never be one quite like it again, exactly because of that. However, when it came to the 1980s, which of course is the decade that most anti-woke grifters seem to be constantly calling back to, the film landscape began to change drastically, and a new kind of studio system began to gradually take shape. Rather than purely director-driven, unconventional movies marketed towards the counterculture being the norm and the most profitable films of the decade, we began to see the tide turn drastically in the 1980s. I think a perfect example of the audience's tastes in films drastically shifting in the 1980s is looking at none other than the year of 1982. This year had 4 major experimental films, 3 of which were sci-fi: Disney and Steven Spielberg's Tron, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner, and John Carpenter's The Thing. All very unique and distinctive experimental takes on the sci-fi genre.
And I want to get with Mika G, because I've seen The Thing, but that was so long ago I don't remember it. So I wouldn't mind getting with Mika G and actually going over John Carpenter's The Thing. Like, seriously.
The other big experimental film from this year was The King of Comedy, which is the latest feature
Yeah.
from none other than Martin Scorsese, one of the stars of the countercultural film movement who had risen up in the previous decade, of course. However, unlike Scorsese's previous films, this was his first certifiable commercial failure, which in the 1970s would have been unheard of, given that he was one of the main faces changing the landscape of cinema.
And remember, they took that idea, and that's where they did Joker at. So there's kind of a little tidbit on that.
Was a worrying sign of big changes coming to Hollywood, and in addition to this, all the previous experimental
2005
sci-fi
Rush
films
Kid.
I mentioned before, Tron, Blade Runner, and The Thing, also all flopped. Of course, all three of these films would later go on to become big cult classics and also certifiable touchstones of the sci-fi genre in their own right, but at the time of their release, they weren't exactly commercially successful. The big runaway success of
Was
1982, which would
Yep.
cement the kinds of films Hollywood would be pushing this decade, was none other than E.T. the Extraterrestrial. This film was not a complex feature made with a counterculture in mind, and also was not a film designed with the distinct intent of getting its audience to relate the events of the film to current ongoing political struggle, unlike most of the films of the 1970s. Even Star Wars itself was doing this back in the 1970s,
Yes,
given
it
the fact
was.
George Lucas intentionally designed Star Wars as an allegory for his perspective on the Vietnam War.
And again, these people do always trying to talk about something that's woke, something that's woke, something that's woke. And these stories, you know, the concept of these stories has always been dealt in realism. They don't understand that, though. You look at how these films are constructed, how these films are made, and you see the message behind the films. It literally tells you exactly, you know, what hidden messages in this film. You have to watch it. But again, people don't watch these films. What they do is they get on a high horse. They ride around saying aimless stuff with buzzwords and all of this, and they don't watch these movies because it's easier just to complain about them and grift and try to make money off of riling up a fan base than actually watching the movies and saying exactly what it is. But the biggest difference is, see, white people can tell a story to them. This is what I gathered. White people can tell a story about the troubling times and stuff like that, and the hardships and stuff like that that they have to go through. Black people can't tell them. You can't have a black protagonist telling that story. That's when it becomes woke. You can have a female protagonist telling that. That's when it becomes woke in their eyes, quote unquote woke. You know what I mean? If anybody else is telling these stories and being the hero, then you know what I'm saying, it's a problem. But a white dude could do it. If it's a white, strong male lead and he's going through things and he overcomes there and he has a strong message, then it's a win in their book. But Hollywood, honestly, if you really, really, really think about it, Hollywood hasn't changed that much. You can go back there. I mean, they talk about gay people in movies. I mean, gay people were been in movies since movies started. You know, the extremely gay, you know, guy or the down low, it's always been in there. It's just the ridiculousness of these people is wild to me.
The Empire was created to represent America at the time, and the Rebels were designed to represent Viet Cong.
You did something very interesting with Star Wars, if you think about it. The good guys are the rebels. They're using asymmetric warfare against a highly organized empire. I think we call those guys
facts.
terrorists.
My bad,
Today,
Torian.
We call them Mujahideen. We call them Al-Qaeda.
When I did it, they were Viet Cong.
Exactly. So were you thinking of that at the time?
E.T., however, seemed to strip itself of this entirely, not wanting to tie itself to any ongoing political or cultural movements. Instead, this film was a very simple, very marketable film, the concept of which could be summed up in a single sentence. It was a simple love story between an alien and a boy, with the titular alien trying to phone his way home. And this is exactly the kind of film that would pervade Hollywood for the foreseeable future. Gone were the days of the gritty, complex counterculture film, and in was the highly marketed blockbuster event that could be marketed to the biggest audience possible and highly merchandised as well. Of course, that's not a knock against 1980s films, quite the opposite in fact. This decade provided so many timeless American films, such as Raiders of the Lost Ark, The Goonies, Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Gremlins, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and plenty more. But there was a noticeable shift in the types of films Hollywood really began to push forward in this decade, as opposed to the 1970s. As the longtime Hollywood producer Don Simpson, who produced such highly marketable
I really know it's cooking right
Gun
now
for Paramount and The Rock for Disney put it, these were high concept films, as in films that could be summed up in a single sentence and distributed to the widest audience possible. And in an interesting sort of way, the extreme push for only these kinds of films to be pushed forward by Hollywood actually ended up being a perfect representation of the kind of mentality that was overtaking the 1980s overall that hadn't existed in the decades prior.
Facts.
The 1960s and 1970s were the decades where the civil rights movement really took hold, with many different minorities coming forward and taking a stand for better rights.
Facts.
Most notable amongst these were African Americans who sought out better rights through the Black Power movement of the late 1960s. Following the assassination of the truly compassionate activist and lead figure of the civil rights movement, that being Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968, civil unrest broke out, and many were unsure of what the future of equal rights for minorities would look like. So a number of young artists and filmmakers took to expressing—
Yo, shout out to Hourly Noah for this video. Shout out to Hourly Noah for this video. And shout him, I'm shouting him out, you know what I'm saying? Not just because, I mean, I like his videos a lot, you know what I'm saying? Is a good dude, but making sure that to understand the complexity of the situation that was going on with us and how Hollywood was trying to make these propaganda films. They were making propaganda films for years, you know, but it was highlighted based on the struggle of black people in this country. You know what I mean? It's my mom, you know what I'm saying, was born at, well, you know, at the was born in 1960. That'll tell you, you know, so she was part of, you know, she was growing up watching the civil rights movement. So it wasn't like that was that long ago. You know what I mean? And filmmakers and stuff like that was reflecting what was going on at the time. Filmmakers, writers, you know what I'm saying, comic book writers. Go back and read 70s. I'm trying to tell you, go back and read some 70s comic books, especially from the big two, and you will see where they were at politically at that time, because it was reflected in the writing. It's hard as hell to not put what's going on in the zeitgeist of America at that time into your work, unless you're totally ignoring it to try to tell your own side. But if you're doing something like comic books where you're trying to tell this overarching story, yes, there's going to be real life stuff that's going to be dropped into those comic books. So all the people who talk about this is woke, that is woke, is trash, because I know they don't read comic books. I know they don't read them. I know they don't read them.
Their thoughts on everything going on in the nation at the time through the only medium they knew how to express themselves through, that being the medium of film. Films like Taxi Driver, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Star Wars were all direct results of that, and of course those were all films released in the 1970s. But by the 1980s, some certain groups of people were getting pretty uncomfortable seeing the exact kinds of injustices that in many ways were being directly caused by them being portrayed so blatantly and so casually in Hollywood to a broad audience of young people and old people alike. As a result, this group, mostly made up of right-wingers and people that today would likely be considered anti-woke, longs for the days before the civil rights movement, when injustices weren't publicized and they could get away with mistreating minorities with no repercussions whatsoever. This was a mentality felt by conservative audiences in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and funny enough, a certain presidential campaign was about to directly market off of this audience's seemingly nostalgic memories of times from the past, when civil rights weren't publicized. And that presidential campaign was none other than that of Ronald Reagan. For those unaware, although—
oh my God, he's cooking. Oh my God, he's cooking. Yeah, I stopped watching Matt Walsh a long time ago. but I'm damn sure not gonna watch anything he does on slavery. I'm sure not gonna watch that. But again, me being a Reagan baby, we call them Reagan babies, 80's baby, growing up in the 80's, this dude was the devil. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all going hard about Ronald Reagan? I mean, going hard about Donald Trump. Ronald Reagan, 8 years. Crime, drugs, all of that. Or the attack against the black community. There's nothing that Ronald Reagan can ever say. Well, he ain't gonna say nothing no more anyway because he's dead. But there's nothing. There's nothing that anybody can say to me that's like, oh yeah, Ronald Reagan was a great president. Not for me, not for my people. He was a horrible president for my people. And we saw the director say no to drugs while they were going in. They put the drugs here, sold it to us, they turned around and enslaved us right back because of Ronald Reagan and his administration and Congress, the Senate and the House. No, I'm not even about to get there, dude. He was part of the Senate. He was part of the Senate. Just saying. I'm seeing what you're throwing down, Jay. He was part of it.
If you're watching this video based on the thumbnail, you probably are aware, but Ronald Reagan was the 40th President of the United States and widely renowned for his conservative policies. Ronald Reagan is a very interesting case because seeing the conservative audience that was around at the time and seemingly pining for the days before the civil rights movement and before injustices against minorities were made much more public, and before they had to deal with scrutiny for singling people out, not with drugs, not too unlike a certain group that also just happens to exist today. Gee, funny how that works.
Hold up.
Conservative policies.
Hold on.
Ronald Reagan is a very interesting case because seeing the conservative audience that was around at the time and seemingly pining for the days before the civil rights movement and before injustices against minorities were made much more public, and before they had to deal with scrutiny for singling people out or isolating people of color with their rhetoric,
again, Rob is sitting right here with these people while they complain about why white people ain't doing this and why white people ain't doing that. He's right under my logo. Hold on. Let me go back to Rob is right there. And you telling me I think Rob has been on there before. I just didn't catch it because it didn't hit me. This is oh God. Hold on. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm good now. I can't do this with this Robert Mayer. I can't do it. I can't.
Too unlike a certain group that also just happens to exist today. Gee, funny how that works. Reagan realized exactly what he could do to easily and very succinctly appeal to this ideology in order to secure his place in office. He decided to model his entire presidential campaign after feeding into nostalgia for the 1950s, aka the decade just before the civil rights movement. And he decided to cap this campaign off with the slogan, "Make America Great Again." Gee, I wonder where I've heard that one before.
The weak will be purged, and the strongest will thrive.
Metal Gear.
Free to live as they see fit. They'll make America great again!
What the hell are you talking about?
More on that.
That's crazy because at that time, Donald Trump was a Democrat. People forget Donald Trump was a Democrat. Anyway.
Later, of course. With this campaign, Reagan pretty easily earned the trust instantly of conservative voters who were convinced he was gonna bring things back to when America was great again. Like when minorities didn't have the rights that they had in the 1980s.
Look at this cornball.
What do you know? It should also be noted that in 2019, a previously concealed phone call of Ronald Reagan calling black people monkeys when discussing them was leaked, which was already...
And y'all wonder... and then my man Al Green, shout out to Senator Al Green, has a sign up that said black people are not monkeys, and they tried to snatch his sign. They kicked him out. Can I take a quick look? I gotta take. This is a lot. This is heavy for me because I have no love for Ronald Reagan at all. At all. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm gonna take a quick commercial break because I gotta get my bearings together and we'll talk about this type of stuff. And I'll be right back with more of the Jerry Mack Show.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Are you going down? Then you gotta know the best way to go. On the down low.
Damn, you banking like that? And you come over here with a biscuit meal, man?
Would you like to take a survey? No. Elevator go down the hall.
It's you! It's you!
Whoop they do?
We are talking about the same girl. Okay, well, what do we do? Fight a duel or something? Well, I don't know. Maybe,
Now the conclusion of
like this?
Slower. Bend over.
Stedman, what's going on?
Darling, are you all right?
Stedman, who was that woman?
That was Professor Haight, disguised as an ugly French lap dancer.
Ugly? She looked beautiful.
I suppose she might have been considered beautiful until you walked in the room.
Oh, Stedman, I've been dreaming of this moment. Come here.
Wild horses couldn't keep me away. Invisible robots!
Invisible robots?
Beep, 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 beep.
Look out!
Man, he's man. Not just no Bruce boyfriend. If you cross him, you're a dead man. You heard what I said, man.
I heard he was gay. No way, sister.
Who's that man? He's dead man.
We now return to the Transformers.
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Pretty telling of his exact mentality when enacting this campaign in many of his policies throughout his presidency.
On the heels of President Trump using disparaging imagery to describe African nations,
Yeah.
new tapes have just
See
been
what I'm
released
saying?
by the National Archives that reveal similar language used by the late President Ronald Reagan. Reagan referred to leaders of African nations as, quote, monkeys, and then President Nixon gets in his own dig. Here you go.
And last night, I tell you, to watch that thing on television as I did, to see those monkeys from those African countries, damn them, they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes.
Well, and then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The tail wags the dog.
He also initially opposed there being a Martin Luther King Jr. Day since he didn't feel like a black activist being celebrated was beneficial to his particular vision of making America great again, as detailed in this 2007 article that discussed many of Ronald Reagan's quote-unquote innocent mistakes. I will be linking this.
It's all a mistake with his racism. Remember, I got Tourette's. That's why I'm calling people the N-word. Tourette's. It's a mistake. When it comes to black people, you can call us whatever, it's a mistake. We sell them crack, it's a mistake. You know what I'm saying? Take away their families, take away the father out of the home. You know what I'm saying? Get the mother on welfare. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, take away the jobs in those areas too. You know what I mean? So they don't survive. Let's continue redlining in the 1980s. People, I could go, man. You know what? But then lace these guys up by their bootstraps.
This article down below my sources list if you'd like to see the whole thing, but it's pretty telling and also very enlightening just how many times Reagan did this sort of thing in general. There was the time he claimed the Voting Rights Act, which had finally granted African Americans the right to vote, was something that had been quote-unquote humiliating the South. Of course, referring to white Southerners. And also, there was the time when Reagan supported Bob Jones University, which was about to lose its tax-exempt status due to holding on to its ban on interracial marriage. And also the time he fired 3 different members of the Civil Rights Commission from his administration. Yeah, clearly these were all just happy accidents, nothing racially biased whatsoever.
Nothing.
Reagan admittedly knew exactly what he was doing with this, and his campaign also intentionally utilized nostalgia for the 1950s in order to secure the confidence of a conservative audience in the 1980s. This ended up securing his spot in office and also creating a slight push against civil rights movements and minorities. While this, of course, wasn't enough to quell the movement entirely, history would repeat itself inevitably about 30 years later in 2015, when something suspiciously similar happened in relation to a certain presidential election as well.
I mean, do y'all believe in the theory that these people are planted? Our votes really don't matter because they know who's going to come into office at certain times. I don't know, but because of how horrible this country has treated people, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I'm not knocking anything out.
Yes, of course, none other than Donald Trump intentionally copied the exact kinds of methods that had worked so well for Reagan's campaign in the 1980s, catering to a conservative audience's nostalgic feelings for a specific time period, and also utilizing it to not only win the election, but also very intentionally undermine minorities and attempt to segregate them further. Gee, funny how that happened twice. However, instead of utilizing nostalgia for the 1950s, Trump utilized nostalgia for the 1980s for his particular election, which in a lot of ways proved to be even more dangerous of a tool than 1950s nostalgia. While the Make America Great Again slogan technically started with Reagan, Trump was the one who truly embodied it and took it to the extreme. Especially due to all the memorable media produced during the 1980s, that being all the high-concept films produced during the rejuvenation of Hollywood's studio system, it made it even easier for Trump to sell this type of ideology to people than it was for Reagan for the 1950s. And even outside...
Because all it is ideology. Again, I don't want to hear about Nazi Germany's ideology when they do the same thing here, just in a different package. One person might call it a cookie here, the next person calls it a biscuit. It's the same damn thing.
To Trump, this is a tactic many anti-woke grifters use as well.
Oh God,
people like Critical Drinker, Neurotic, Heel vs. Babyface, Metatron, John Della Rose, Disparu, That Star Wars Girl, Snarky J, and plenty more all do tend to intentionally reference the
Alvin Rodriguez, that's your girl. Starkey, and again, you hang with these people, maulers up in here, you know what I mean? And you're thinking, I'm sorry, birds of a feather flock together. I'm sorry. That's why there's nothing Snarky J could say. Birds of a feather flock together. I'm not going to hang with people who don't have the same, at least, not saying that everybody has to think like me, but we're going to have something. It's no way in hell I hang with any of them. Slap them in the face, but not hang with them. But you see, it's the company you keep. It's the company you keep, dude.
1980s as an era that totally wasn't woke and is an era where clearly everybody knew better, and we should go back to that.
Are you fucking dumb?
It is interesting because they also often do try to act like media from the 1980s wasn't woke by the standards they often present in their videos. A good example of this is Critical Drinker discussing the TV series Alien Earth and trying to act like it's woke propaganda, and also trying to act like the original Alien movie totally wasn't woke at all by the standards he presents here.
Exactly.
It should also be noted that according to this article, Critical Drinker is the same guy who found himself in court at one point for the accusation of assaulting an 11-year-old boy. He was apparently found not guilty, but only because
wow. Wow. Hey, I hope Rob, Comics Explain Rob, I really hope you unfollow these cats. Wow. One dude, it said the Crown did not wish to proceed with the conviction and Jordan of 3 Rossin Sizzles Bank was not found guilty. He had previously pleaded not guilty to the charge that he assaulted an 11-year-old boy, pushed him on the body, and repeatedly punched him on the body at Red Row in Limskins on Jill. Crown did not wish to proceed with the conviction, and Jordan of 3 Rothschild Bank was not found guilty because they didn't want to proceed with the conviction. This is crazy. You got Neurotic, who is a criminal. Is a criminal. And Neurotic, they didn't want to proceed with the. I mean, he wasn't found guilty. He wasn't found guilty. It's still crazy that they didn't wish to proceed with the conviction. Was it because of lack of evidence? Hopefully he gets into that, but wow. All I'm saying is wow.
Because the Crown didn't want to proceed with a conviction, also according to this article, so take that as you will. Let's see what he had to say.
Wow, I've been on quite the roller coaster ride with Alien Earth. The first episode seemed to confirm my hopes. There was action and spectacle, gorgeous visuals and production design, a talented cast, gory body horror, sinister corporate conspiracies, grizzled-looking crewmen sitting around smoky briefing rooms, and a thoughtful exploration of a facet of the alien universe that often gets neglected.
So right off the bat, I love that Drinker wasn't actually able to explain what specific facet of the alien universe he thinks gets neglected here, and he was glad got addressed in Alien Earth. This is an incredibly vague statement and could quite literally mean anything. But of course, Drinker, being the griffly bear that he is, doesn't actually want to give a specific analysis of Alien Earth whatsoever. He's obviously not interested in actually getting into the nitty-gritty of what worked about the show and what didn't work for him whatsoever. The only reason he made this video to begin with is to farm outrage by creating incredibly shallow, lackluster commentary surrounding this show without actually diving into the show and its themes or anything about it whatsoever.
And remember, you can farm engagement on Twitter and get paid. You can farm engagement on here and get paid. It's all for money.
In other words, this is not a real review, which, knowing Drinker, is absolutely a given.
Holy shit, maybe this show was actually going to be decent. I even said as much on Twitter while ranting about some journalist who sees literally all of entertainment as a gender identity seminar.
Ah, yes, because it totally makes sense to bring up some random argument you had on Twitter when trying to review Alien Earth. Maybe talk about the show and don't talk about random interactions you have on Twitter. It's kind of not really helping you look like a real reviewer here whatsoever.
Anyway, Marcy's put through an experimental procedure to transfer her consciousness into a new android body as part of a larger project to extend human lifespan. Pretty soon, she's joined by a gang of other kids who all went through the same process, and because I guess the writers are fans of Peter Pan, she becomes Wendy and the others take on the names of the Lost Boys. You know, I'm not entirely sure the writers understand the themes of Peter Pan. I mean, I get that it's all cool and artistic to juxtapose a classic piece of children's fairy tale literature against the existential cosmic horror of the xenomorphs because it's like a sharp contrast and stuff. But I can't shake the feeling that they're trying to fit a thematic square peg into a round hole with this one. Peter Pan was a story about the childish fear of growing up, of taking on the responsibilities and burdens of adulthood, of getting physically older and inevitably facing up to their own mortality. This is a story about children literally placed into adult bodies that will never age, forced to grow up quickly and adapt to their new situation.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point, Drinker. Inevitably, what Drinker doesn't understand here is the reason why the Peter Pan terminology is being used in this show is because the story of Wendy and her cohorts in a lot of ways is like a reverse Peter Pan. Instead of being kids who are whisked away to Neverland and never want to grow up, they are kids who are placed into adult bodies and want to grow up too fast. That's literally the whole point of Wendy and her crew's story, but unfortunately, Drinker didn't quite realize that.
All seems to be going well for Wendy until news of the ship crash reaches them and she sees footage of her brother Joe going in with the rescue teams. She wants to help him out, so she petitions her superiors to be sent in with the Lost Boys as a rescue team, and for some reason, they actually agree to it.
In the quiet words of the Virgin Mary, come again.
Like, you understand that you're basically sending children into a highly dangerous and highly traumatic situation with no weapons or training, right? Aside from the fact that they could easily get destroyed and wipe out billions of dollars of investment, how do you think they're going to react when they see dead bodies and horribly injured victims?
I still
Shit
need
like
to watch
that can
this
cause
movie.
veteran soldiers to freak out, never mind kids that have never seen anything more violent than an episode of SpongeBob.
So, funny enough, if Drinker had actually paid attention to the show, he would have realized that this was actually already addressed in the first episode. Wendy realizes her brother is out there amongst the shipwreck with only a few other crewmates, so she volunteers to go with the Lost Boys to go aid him. Initially, this young Elon Musk stand-in who created Wendy in the show is initially skeptical of her and the Lost Boys going over there. But of course, being the very cocky person he is, he decides to go along with it and see if his toys that he's created can stand up to this test. The other smarter, more mature people here on his board object to it, as you can see in this clip here, but he decides to go with it anyway.
I said we can do it. Sir, we're fast, we're strong, we don't break.
Send them. Send the Lost Boys. Let's see how they handle the stress. I want all technicians on deck, monitor brain function, emotional response, see how the enhanced physiognomy performs.
So they're not first responders. They're still in the prototype stage. The loss of a single unit would be devastating.
Yeah, so don't lose one.
If Drinker had actually paid attention to the show, he might be able to store this kind of information in that giant forehead of his, but clearly he actually wasn't watching the show whatsoever.
Also,
I mean, I really can't talk because I'm over here with Large Dome too, so hey, but he's not, because he's farming outrage. It's a great way to get paid.
The idea of having children in adult bodies facing off against aliens might have sounded good in a brainstorming session where everyone was high on coke, but the reality is the Lost Boys are annoying as fuck, completely idiotic, and there's far too many of them to do any real character development. The first two Alien movies were compelling because for the most part, the humans were smart and logical and made the best decisions they could under the circumstances. You rooted for them because you understood them and you identified with them. I don't care about any of the Lost Boys because 1, they can't feel pain or injuries, 2, they can't be impregnated by facehuggers, and 3, well, they're fucking idiots.
So inevitably, Drinker's reasoning for quote-unquote not being able to like the Lost Boys in this series makes no real sense whatsoever. The reasons he gives here is that they can't feel pain and they can't be impregnated by facehuggers. So what exactly is your criteria for caring about a character then? Is it only to see them get completely demolished on screen? Is it to see them in extreme pain or get impregnated by an alien? This logic makes absolutely no sense and really isn't any kind of actual character criticism whatsoever. Drinker seems to somehow think because he can't see these characters in physical pain or getting impregnated by aliens, he somehow can't care about them at all. And his last point there about the characters being supposedly dumb also shows, once again, he clearly wasn't actually paying attention to the story in this show. These were all dying children who were put into the bodies of robotic adults.
Right.
They are quite literally in the minds of kids put into the bodies of grown-ups, so it kind of makes sense they wouldn't always make the right decisions. They're still growing into their own bodies even. Overall, while Drinker very clearly tried to...
he was calling them idiots, and these are literally, they said they were kids.
Compare Alien Earth to Alien and Aliens here and claim it's all woke now and that makes it bad. That really isn't what happened here at all, and he failed to give any substantial criticism as well. It's also very funny because if the original Alien film came out today, by the standards a lot of these grifters often give, yes, it would be considered woke by them. It features a tough-as-nails female protagonist who isn't sexualized whatsoever and outlives everybody else around her by the end of the film, including the male characters around her. By the logic a lot of these guys often give, this film would absolutely be considered woke today. But believe it or not, it's not even just Critical Drinker who has done this method before of weaponizing 80s nostalgia in order to pander towards an anti-woke audience. Someone like Ranting for Vengeance has also done this before when he was complaining about Marvel's...
Get that dude's face off of here, God!
Fantastic Four and also Superman coming out last year and saying that 80s anime was way better and totally not woke. Oh boy. Let's hear what our favorite emo version of a Raggedy Ann doll had to say.
So, do you ever find yourself sick and tired of the Fantastic Four and whatever new crap DC is putting out, like Superman? Well, there is a solution. You could go back and read the old comics, or there's something that might even be better: anime and manga. Now, before you laugh, I'm not talking about your bullshit manga and anime that everybody loves, like Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen. That's a load of trash.
It's trash because other people like it, you worthless piece of crap. Oh, Jujutsu Kaisen is dope. Attack on Titan is fire. Oh, My Hero Academia. My kids love My Hero Academia. What is this dude talking about? What is? Oh my God. Berserk is woke though. Oh God, this is just dumb. These people's takes are stupid.
Telling you about the real anime and manga that is superior to anything the West has ever put out. I'm just kind of sick of Fantastic Four and Superman. I don't know about you. It might be funny to rag on it for a bit, but it's not just going to be my entire life attacking Fantastic Four.
I love how he says this when, if you look at his page, the next two videos he made after making this manga one were exactly that. Him bashing Fantastic Four for being woke propaganda. Way to hypocrite, Goob from Meet the Robinsons.
It's going to be a few anime and manga that you should check out if you're sick of American comics and American movies. And
like, I know that I made a horror style type of video, but this dude is a horror video come to life. Oh, I gotta take he's making my head hurt. I'm gonna take one last commercial break and I'll be right back with more. It won't be the last one, but I'll be right back with more of the Dre Mac Show. Don't go nowhere, y'all.
Knight Rider will continue in a moment.
Wow, the 19,000!
Only kid for you.
It's her!
This is the problem with being rich.
Your only other nickname is Dick?
No.
So you understand the words I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
What?
Coach, I've got AIDS.
Wrong. You're HIV positive. Big difference. It could be years before you even get sick.
With That's My Slow Jam, we found a way to get you all these slow grinding hits at an unbeatably low price. Act now and get all 58 songs for only 52 cents per track.
Just a good old boy.
So skip it, to run, to jump, to hop, hop.
Hi.
Now the conclusion of
Darling, are you all right?
Oh, what happened?
The robot ducked.
Oh, it's a private room. Lock the door.
Of course. First, let me close the blinds. I think someone's calling me.
I didn't hear anything.
Hello?
Monsieur Stedman, this is the Mayor of France.
It's the mayor of France.
It seems that Colonel Haight...
You mean Professor Haight?
Yes, Professor Haight is still alive and he's vowing to destroy you and all of France. There's not a moment to lose.
You got to give me 10 minutes alone with my fiancé. I'm begging you, man.
No, out of the question. Hurry, my yacht is outside.
Darling, I hate to ask, but...
How much do you need?
I'll bring you the change.
Nice of you to drop in, Stedman.
James Brolin. As always, your timing is perfect.
Please, call me Captain Laser.
Still battling Dr. Chaos? I bet Babs is worried sick.
Hey, how does Oprah let you out of the house without a costume?
I'm a secret agent.
Damn! You're good.
I'm the luckiest woman on earth.
All right. Let's keep going.
TV shows. So the ones I'm going to be talking about today are ones that will be available or are available now, and are ones that not many people have ever talked about. So after some research and the suggestions from the comments, I'll figure out some like Berserk.
Okay, so admittedly this is low-hanging fruit, but calling Berserk an unknown manga is absolutely wild. Berserk is like one of the foundational manga and anime that everybody talks about. How could you have not heard of this one before? I feel like that's like saying you haven't heard of Gundam or Akira. It's one of those major pieces of Japanese anime or manga that everybody knows about. And it's easily one of the most influential as well. Stuff like Dark Souls or Dragon's Dogma or Soul Calibur or Final Fantasy VII and Devil May Cry even were all influenced by Berserk. Heck, even other manga and anime like Chainsaw Man or Attack on Titan were inspired by Berserk. So, obviously, there is the possibility that Ranting for Vengeance hadn't somehow heard of Berserk before, but the thing is, everybody else knows about it. That's not an unknown manga. Him trying to label Berserk as an unknown manga is just honestly super disingenuous.
I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, but the thing is really badass and better than almost every American comic out there. Screw the Killing Joke, screw Green Arrow, Green Lantern, screw most DC comics, which are woke garbage, by the way, and I'm not saying that Marvel doesn't do that either, because they do, and it's insufferable.
So this is the part I find the funniest of all. Not only does Ranting for Vengeance think that Berserk is a unknown manga, but he also thinks that it's not quote-unquote woke. The thing is, there actually are a number of LGBT characters in Berserk, which, if Ranting for Vengeance actually read the manga, you would know this. And this is something he'd probably dismiss as quote-unquote woke propaganda as well. There are two explicitly stated homosexual characters in Berserk, the first being Donovan and the second being Genin. And even outside of that, there's pretty notable gay subtext between Griffith and Guts. This has always been a thing since the manga has been running, but apparently Ranting for Vengeance just didn't see that. It's funny that he calls all American comics quote-unquote woke propaganda and tries to recommend you Japanese comics instead, but the Japanese comics he's given you still are quote-unquote woke by his criteria. The jokes really write themselves here. But don't worry everybody, the fun doesn't stop here. Goth Kid from South Park has another pretty telling recommendation for manga here for us.
So I'm gonna tell you what I actually started that I would recommend, because I'm not gonna lie, especially if you're in the anime, this mug has been fire. And I'm only I gotta bring it up because I have to I gotta say the name because it's kind of hard. Yeah, I know, new price, whatever. Yada yada yada, whatever. But it's Gachiakuda. I think that's how you pronounce it. Gachiakuda. Dope. And guess what? There's black characters in that show that don't have the Killmonger haircut. But man, is it been fire. But you know, the theme from the theme from The Ring would say that that's woke too, because black people was in there, and one is super. I want him on a shirt. I am not a shirt, hoodie, something that Anyway, let's keep going.
One is a bit more common and many people know about it, but kind of brush it off as a comedy, which it is most certainly not. I'm talking about the hard-boiled noir manga that beats Marvel and DC any day, which is City Hunter. Now, I'm recommending the manga, which will soon be in print in a massive omnibus, but also I'm recommending the badass anime. Now, I might piss some people off here, but have you ever watched Cowboy Bebop? And you thought that the main guy was cool. Oh, he's this badass who's kind of like a bounty hunter, private detective in space. This guy is just going around blowing people away, and he's this wisecracking noir character. Yeah, well, he was ripped off directly from 70s Japanese noir movies and this manga right here. So it follows Ryo Saiba, known as the City Hunter, who works as a sweeper, which is basically a private investigator, mercenary assassin in the streets of Tokyo. Now, if you're not sold already, then I don't know what's wrong with you. But basically, the manga and the anime take from American 80s action movies. They take from Miami Vice, 40s noir, hard-boiled pulp novels, meshing together to create something that is truly one of the best things I've come across. The best part is, in new manga and anime, the protagonists cry and are wimps, but this guy is just an absolute Chad who's always holding a beautiful babe and blown away an evil scumbag with his 357 Magnum. And that's a common trend.
So what it is that the guy can't show any emotions. He got to be holding a beautiful woman, and he has to go out like a badass. And that's what makes it not woke. Yeah, that's realistic. This dude, oh God.
You'll see with a lot of these good manga and anime is the fact that the main dudes are not wimps like Deku or Eren Yeager, but are instead more manly than America ever was.
Okay, I find this really funny because he seems to think that City Hunter embraces toxic masculinity. When, in actuality, if you read it, that's not really what happens in that manga at all. The main character of City Hunter, Rio, is a pervert who often does try to get with different women, but usually he doesn't and is punished because the manga does recognize this is wrong. There are many times in this manga where Ryu actually does come off as a selfish character and embraces toxic masculinity, but he's actually punished for that. And interestingly enough, it's the times when he doesn't act like this that he actually does get the girl, or people actually want to be around him because he's not being a selfish jerk. Kylo Ren here seems to think that City Hunter is celebrating toxic masculinity when, if he actually read it, you would see that it doesn't. And I also find it especially interesting when you look at what he said about the French comic Black Sad in the past, as opposed to what he says about City Hunter.
Yeah, this comic might be taking inspiration from some French stuff, but to be honest with you, every time somebody says that to me, I just get annoyed. You're telling me to go read some French comic that has like 2 pages, because I don't like French comics. Stuff like Black Sad sucks.
I really want him to take his next check and go see a dentist.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Huh, funny, because that's exactly what Black Sad is too. The comic you just said sucks. Funny enough, both Black Sad and City Hunter are about toxic masculinity tropes and breaking them down, albeit in different ways. John Blacksad isn't quite as much of a womanizer as Rio from City Hunter is, but he still definitely very much is that, and that is part of his character.
Shalom,
but
brother.
funny enough, just like Rio, this is something he's punished for. This isn't something that's really celebrated as much as deconstructed here. I don't know how Ranting Revengeance managed to walk away from reading both Blacksad and City Hunter and seem to completely misunderstand what both of them are about. It's completely mind-blowing. Ultimately, overall, a lot of these anti-woke grifters, and even just anti-woke politicians in general, often do weaponize 80s nostalgia for their own purposes. Nostalgia is a very powerful tool and can be a very powerful weapon when used by these kinds of people. But fortunately, me doing these kinds of videos that I do here has helped a lot more people become privy to this grift overall
this
and
dude don't want to
understand when it
read.
is occurring. People like Clownfish TV, Jesterbell, Geeks and Gamers, Metatron, and plenty of others have seen diminishing viewership as people catch on to their grift thanks to the videos I do here, and plenty of others do as well. And someone like Melanie Mack has just straight up left the platform, never to return again. So fortunately, it looks like me educating folks is really paying off, which makes me very happy. So thanks everybody, I'm happy to keep hunting griftly bears. I'm also looking forward to putting out more film ranking videos this year, and also more autism related ones as well, since obviously those are two things that are very passionate for me overall. And I'm also,
and if he does his autism videos, I'm probably going to watch those for myself. You know, I've said before, dealing with a child on the spectrum, but I want to see exactly what he says in those videos. So I want to check those videos out. So, but utterly, bro, if you're watching this, or if you end up catching that, do those videos. I want to see what your breakdown and perspective of those. I have years of experiences dealing with it, but I want to hear what you have to say. I think that's awesome.
Looking forward to doing a few gaming retrospectives this year, so stay tuned for that. But what do you think? Am I wrong? Am I a gay woke furry? Let me know in the comments below. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video or learned something.
Yeah, shout out to Utterly Noah, man. Shout out to Utterly Noah. What's up, Erica D? I see you done slid into the function. All right. let me do a quick commercial, just real quick. Real quick. I know Mika G won't like this commercial, but let me just do a real quick commercial break, and I'll be right back with more. I need to stop that before she actually gets me. I'll be right back with more of the Dre Mack Show.
Will be right back.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the butter spread. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the butter spread. Get your butter spread all on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my mac and cheese.
We now return to the Transformers.
All right. Here's my thoughts. Here's my final thoughts. What's going on, Robin D? What's up? So here's my final thoughts on this. You can clearly see that these people have no problem grifting, even when they're loud and wrong. But the biggest takeaway, honestly, from all of this is seeing the people that you look at, you watch on social media, YouTube, TikTok, whatever you are literally get your entertainment from, and seeing them hanging with the same people that have no problem talking crazy to us. But then they go into another platform and act like nothing is wrong. And this is the problem that I have with people who call themselves allies, which makes me look at a lot of people a little differently now. I'm just being honest with you. It's because on one hand, they could come off and be like, I don't have no problem with black people or whatever. Then you go and hang with people on platforms that have a problem with black people, having a problem with women and stuff like that. You're not being the voice to say, hey, man, we can't do that. So you're complacent. And actually, me seeing Rob from the John Campea show there was actually more disappointed than anything. I'm disappointed. I'm extremely disappointed. And the reason why I'm extremely disappointed, because I actually respected this guy's takes, his thoughts, all of that. But then I see you hanging with these cats. This is different than Rob from Comics Explained following somebody, because he never repeated the rhetoric back. He never went on the. And now, if I would have seen Rob from Comics Explained with no right on the panel, I'd have been a whole totally different. Man, I would have like, hey man, Rob, we good, bro, we good. But to see Rob on there, man, it's a lot of people, man, that would do anything for $1, anything for $1. I'm just. And then they're complacent with the blatant hypocrisy that is going on in here. That's what's wild. They're complacent. They don't have no problem. With this grift, as long as they can get some more exposure. And being on John Campea's show, to turn around and being on this bull crap, that was the biggest takeaway I took out of that. That's sad, because I already know what Grifter's going to do, but I didn't think he was hanging with the Grifters like that. But am I surprised? Because a lot of people that rub shoulders with us and say that they are allies and I ain't got no problem, turn around, take that mask off, and you can't believe that it's him, the guy that looks like your neighbor. Sad. Anyway, what did you guys think about this? I mean, I think that is the part that just, and John Campea doesn't come off like that. But then you got somebody who's sitting on here on your panel talking that hangs with people who totally would even. I mean, I know John has an Asian wife, so they probably wouldn't hate him. Thank God he doesn't have a black wife.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
I mean, I'm not. I'm about to go into the rabbit hole, but I'm not about to go there. I want you guys to enjoy your Thursday, but you know, what did you guys think about this particular video? I don't know. Put it in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think. But again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can never, ever, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe power, man. I guess you got to watch who's in your neighborhood. Your neighborhood. But I got to go. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Huh. Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.